At that time, 1:15 a.m., the plane was smoothly cruising over the South China Sea. The pilots were focused on their tasks, heading towards their destination. They were instructed to contact Vietnam ATC, Air Traffic Control. This was a routine procedure, but several minutes passed without any response from the pilots. Vietnam ATC waited, but there was no reply from the aircraft. It then crossed Igari Point, but suddenly, the plane disappeared from the radar. MH370 vanished from the radar. The worrying aspect was that such a modern commercial aircraft, which is under constant radar surveillance, could disappear in this manner was highly unusual. Initially, ATC thought it might be due to a mechanical issue. Perhaps the pilots had mistakenly failed to communicate. However, when the transponder also went silent, the whole situation became even more mysterious and alarming. The transponder is a device that sends information about the aircraft's position, speed, and altitude. Its deactivation meant the plane could no longer be identified by radar. Vietnam ATC immediately contacted Malaysia ATC and inquired, "Have you been able to contact MH370? Malaysia ATC, confused, replied, "No, we thought it was already under Vietnam's control." Naturally, at this moment, only one question began to arise in everyone's mind. Where was the plane going? Was it due to a mechanical problem, or was there a mysterious reason behind it? The night deepened, and with it, the anxiety grew. Information exchange between Malaysia and Vietnam ATC intensified, but there was no sign of the aircraft. Every moment seemed to give rise to more questions. Where did the plane go? What was happening in the sky? No one knew. Malaysian military radar was activated. This radar is extremely powerful and capable of tracking the movement of commercial aircraft. Once observation began on this radar, an unbelievable piece of information came to light. The military radar showed that MH370 had turned west from its eastward direction. This turn was completely abnormal because it was in the opposite direction of their scheduled route. It crossed the Strait of Malacca and continued towards northern Sumatra. Seeing this unusual movement, investigators were in a dilemma. Was it a mistake by the pilots, or had someone else taken control of the aircraft? Had hijackers turned off the transponder? Due to the transponder being off, the exact location and path of the aircraft were difficult to determine. Had the pilots made this decision themselves, or were they forced to? Mysteriously, at this point, according to the last information from the military radar, the plane disappeared from radar again at an unknown location north of Sumatra. Since then, no signal has been received from the aircraft. At that time, in breathless anticipation, 239 passengers and crew were eagerly waiting to know what was happening to their fate. Every second felt like waiting for the unveiling of a new mystery. As news of this strange incident spread, a stir was created worldwide. Malaysian Airlines officially announced that flight MH370 was missing. It was an astonishing event, and immediately a massive search operation was launched. Aviation authorities first conducted the search in the South China Sea because this area was the last known location of the aircraft. The military forces of Malaysia, Vietnam, Thailand, and Singapore began working together. Drones, ships, submarines, and satellites were used to search the entire sea. Despite hours of searching, no trace of the aircraft was found. Usually, after a plane crash, oil slicks, debris, or signals are found on the surface of the sea, but MH370 literally seemed to have vanished into thin air. After this, the search area was further expanded. The Strait of Malacca and the Bay of Bengal were also searched. Every possible location was investigated, but no wreckage of the aircraft was found. Media houses around the world began to focus on this incident. Every piece of news, every satellite image, every radar data was deeply analyzed, but no answers were found. The world seemed to be undergoing a profound test of patience. And in the midst of this search, a new clue was found. The British satellite company Inmarsat reported that flight MH370 had attempted to communicate with their satellite 7 times. These signals provided information that gave an idea about the aircraft's location. Analyzing Inmarsat's data, it was learned that the plane was in the air for about 7 hours after its takeoff. Based on the distance of the aircraft from the satellite, a possible flight path was drawn. These arcs showed that the plane had gone towards the southern Indian Ocean. This information seemed to open a new curtain of mystery in the search operation. Consequently, the search in the South China Sea and the Strait of Malacca was called off. The new target of the search became the deep region of the Indian Ocean, and this area is one of the most remote and vast areas on Earth. Even conducting a search here was a major challenge. The world then erupted in excitement. Every signal gave birth to a new question. If the plane was intentionally taken on this route, then why? Research began on every possibility, but none seemed to materialize. Finally, in 2015, debris washed ashore on Reunion Island. This debris was examined and confirmed to be a part of MH370. After this, more debris was found on the east coast of Africa. These discoveries confirmed that the plane had crashed in the deep Indian Ocean. However, even these discoveries could not solve its mystery. Where was the main wreckage of the plane? Why did the plane go on this route? Why was the transponder turned off? The answers to these questions remain unknown even today. The disappearance of MH370 into thin air seemed to challenge the limitations of modern technology. It proved that there are still many mysteries in the world whose answers we do not yet know. Interestingly, this incident paved the way for new policies and technological advancements in aviation safety. Yet, one question remains: what was the actual event of flight MH370? Perhaps one day we will solve this mystery too, but that day is still unknown to us.